We are going now to start with our next talk. We are going to talk about coin miners, and we are going to have our second international speaker, Thomas, and we're going to have our own Omri from very active in the Israeli hacking community. So, welcome.
Thanks.
Cheers. Salud.
Cheers, bien.
Right. All right, so almost every enterprise suffered at least one crypto mining related attack this year.
So how many of you, raise your hand, how many of you already have an experience with crypto miners? Raise your hand. Quite a lot.
Yeah, more than expected.
All right, so thank you very much. My name is Thomas Rocha. I'm working as a security researcher in the McAfee Advanced Threat Research team, and I'm really happy to be here today.
My name is Omri Segev Moyal, and I'm the co-founder and head of research at Minerva Labs.
Okay, so what we will discuss today. So mostly we will review together the rise of coin miner. We all know that since sometimes there is a lot of crypto miners or coin miners that infect your computers. We will see also an overview of the evasion techniques mostly used by crypto miners. Which is interesting to notice here is the cryptocurrency interest in Google Trends. And we can see that there is a huge peak in last December, which was in the same time as the Bitcoin peak. Another thing which is interesting is the interest comes from Malta, and Malta is a tax haven, so could be related as well.
We're also going to look about the kind of gang territorial wars between competing crypto miners. And of course, it's a B-side talk, so we're going to have some defensive tactics, something you can take home and improve your security related to that. And we're also going to do some gambling on prediction. So I missed all my World Cup bets, so maybe I'll get one good here.
So everyone heard about a story about crypto miners. Every day we have a new one. Even the last 2 days we get new one as well. There is one with Docker attacks. So every day is a new day for crypto miner and cyber criminals.
Yeah, so basically, even preparing this talk, we were really overwhelmed. Every time we went and tried to improve the talk, then there was a new attack coming up. And there was one just 2 days ago about the Dockers, and basically someone pretty smart embedded crypto miners inside Docker images that were downloaded by thousands of people. Mind-blowing. Anyway, so we will try to keep it up to date, but if you just Google for crypto miners, you'll find some more recent attacks.
Okay, so let's talk about the business model used by authors behind crypto miners. So mostly, to mine cryptocurrency, you need to use computer resources. But it's not anymore profitable to mine in your own. So that's why cybercriminals decided to move to crypto miners by infecting people and multiply the resources to mine cryptocurrencies.
They also, like legitimate miners, they're going to choose public pools so they can share their resources with other miners so they can maximize the profit. And also large botnets we've seen transition to using crypto miners as well.
Okay, so what about the most cryptocurrency mine, at least used by cybercriminals or crypto miners? Yes, it's Monero. So it's really interesting to see that because Monero has specific functionalities such as it provides anonymity for cybercriminals, and it's also easy to implement and easy to use in your own tools. Which is interesting to notice as well is even Monero claims, the Monero teams claims that 80% of the network hash rate is unknown. Meaning we have 80% of the hash rate network from Monero, which could be potentially from cybercriminal activity or at least crypto miners.
Cool. Another strong feature of Monero is that unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin, the transactions are much more anonymous. And also, if you look at anyone with a Bitcoin wallet, you can see exactly how much money or Bitcoin they have, the transaction. With Monero, it's much more complicated than that. So when we're looking about the crypto miners as a malicious application or as a malware, we need to separate a bit, or as a malware, basically we want to know how it gets to our computers, other computers, or servers, etc. So when we started investigating it, we reached the same conclusion that the majority of crypto miners' attacks are pretty much similar to any malware attack. More sophisticated, less sophisticated. They will use things like spear phishing, malicious documents. They will use worms a lot, worm ability, like exploiting brute forces or SMB, WannaCry, gotta mention WannaCry here. And also we've seen that basically, and we will speak about it more in more details soon, they will start competing each other as well. One more thing I forgot to mention is, unlike malware, there's one really interesting fact. They don't really need, in some of them, to infect the computer. All they need is a JavaScript access to start mining with your browser. So you can just browse to somewhere. They don't need an exploit. They don't need anything. You will just start, your computer will start running slow.
So the rise of coin miners again. So we know that mining can damage your computer hardware, but there is also some clever way to make you rich, but also to warm your home and your cat. So that's an example about how to mine cryptocurrency in your home, which could be also really interesting.
We think it's one of the only efficient ways to actually use crypto miners. All right.
Okay, so before to deep dive into some use cases, let's define what is evasion techniques. So evasion techniques are mostly all the techniques used to avoid dynamic, static analysis, human analysis also, in order to understand the behavior of a software or a malware. And it's interesting to understand this concept because today in modern malware, there is plenty of evasion techniques that are implemented to avoid detection and analysis. So that's why we can classify the evasion techniques by the following. So we have anti-sandboxing, antivirus, etc., etc. There is plenty, and there is new techniques that appears every day.
Cool, so we start with a quick intro, and now let's start digging a bit more deeper. So we're gonna do it by case studies. This is the way we are gonna design it. So one of the interesting crypto miners that we've seen called Waterminer, basically a Russian author screwed with his friends, and he put a crypto miner inside a GTA mode, something like that. Forgive me, I can't translate Russian 100%. And basically what they did is it was Trojanized, so as soon as someone started to run the mode, the crypto miner would have been installed on the sides, kind of like a fake Oracle or Intel product. It did some really cool evasive stuff. So first of all, XMRig, if anyone doesn't know it, it's an open source tool to mine Monero. XMRig needs some parameters to run, or a config file, so you can see which wallet you are, how many threads, etc. What they did was pretty smart. It was one of the first ones to do it. They took the parameters, they took the code, and they embedded inside the main crypto miner payload. So it's not that easy to track. And another really cheeky thing they did is, you know, it was a mode for power users, for people who like cheat on games. So whenever your machine's starting to run slow, what do? You probably open Task Manager, or if you're in Russia, you're going to open Entvir. And basically what they did, as soon as Entvir or Task Manager would have been open, the crypto mining process would have run into a halt. So basically, it would have reduced the CPU, and you wouldn't see what's actually stealing your resources. So by the way, we've managed to track the author. His name was Anton. You remember the surname? I don't remember. Yeah, his name was Anton, and we've seen Anton Ivanov. But he was in Russia, so they couldn't really track him, do anything to him. But at least we've shamed him a bit.
Everyal is another crypto miner, which is really interesting too. So this one is coming packed. So you can see there is some nice string into the packet file. And if you reverse the samples, you can see actually that this one is replacing the wallet address into the clipboard, which is really interesting because if you don't pay attention, the malware will replace the wallet address that you copy-paste, and it will replace this wallet by his own wallet, sorry. And we can see here that he's looking for several wallet addresses, such as BTC, TH, LTC, etc. So this kind of malware is really interesting, and it comes from with other techniques, such as also Bitcoin stealer. So it will look for the registry for Bitcoin Qt. It will steal the wallet, and it will also have capabilities to steal the cookie into the machine, the infected machine. So this one is really interesting, and it's a real case selling on several black market. So it's still interesting to study this kind of crypto miners.
So as I mentioned, it can be a 2018 talk without mentioning WannaCry, but we're not really going to discuss WannaCry here. When WannaCry first emerged, then there was another threat pretty much similar, UIWIX, or whatever you want to pronounce it. I'm really bad at pronouncing malware names. But anyhow, at the same time, WannaCry was exploiting your SMBs, Eternal Blue, whatever. This was doing the same. It was originally a ransomware that shifted to CryptoMiner. And basically, one of the reasons that it was never really found, was never detected, probably, how many of you heard about this before? How many of you heard about WannaCry? Yep. So basically, what they did, we call it, they crawled the web, look for anything that's called evasive techniques, some code they can steal, grab that code, copy paste it, put it into the main malware. And basically, the researchers and everybody were thinking it might have been WannaCry exploiting the SMBs. There was actually UIWIX. It was really, really evasive. Things like anti-debuggers, anti-VM, anti-sandboxing, etc. So pretty smart and effective.
Okay, so let's talk about Xiaoba, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce. Anyway, this one is also using several evasion techniques. So first of all, it's coming with a fake icon, so which is a simple trick used by malware. It's also infecting every HTML file, meaning it injects a conhive JavaScript into each HTML file on the system. So if you don't pay attention, you run your HTML file in your web server in production, and you mine cryptocurrencies. It also has capabilities such as anti-forensic, by deleting, for example, safe mode or the registry access. It also deletes the backup, the .iso and the .gshow. And finally, which is actually a fail, this malware is infected every PE file into the system, even the critical file, resulting in a crash of the system. So here we have an example. So it comes with the icon 360 Safe, which is a Chinese antivirus. We have an example about the HTML file modified into the infected machine. Here we have an extract with the antivirus. Yeah, I forgot to talk about that. Xiaoba is also redirecting all the antivirus website to the localhost to avoid any gathering data about it. So we can see here the list. We can see, for example, VirusTotal and other security websites. The registry disabled, which is here, and the disable SafeBoot, which is just here. Okay, so we saw some example about evasion techniques such as anti-forensic and other injection, etc. But there is also a competition between crypto miners, and we're gonna talk about that right now. So some crypto miners are using, for example, will browse the task manager to find, for example, another threat and kill the process, or they will patch directly the system to avoid any infection via specific vulnerabilities.
You might asking yourself, why does they care about competition? So anyone who's done incident response probably found at least some computers with like 6, 7 Trojans on them, all living together, feasting from the information they can steal. But CryptoMine is kind of like ransomware, they can't live together because they make the money from how much CPU they actually use. And if someone else taking the CPU, first, the user probably going to get annoyed fast, and second, they're going to make less money. So one of those crypto miners really evasive called Ghostminer. Ghostminer was found spreading via WebLogic, vulnerabilities in Oracle, SMB, brute force, PHP admin, brute force mostly focused on Windows system. You can see a quick PowerShell task looking at how much networks they actually created from a PowerShell. This is the type of the communication. Now, Ghostminer was built almost completely in PowerShell, so both the spreading and deploying the payload. First of all, they used an invoke reflective P injection from PowerSploit, so you can easily inject. Now, really interesting to see was the first generation of Ghostminer wasn't really using PowerShell almost, and it was really easy detected by the majority of AVs and other tools. And the second generation, when it was first discovered, wasn't detected almost at all, at least from the products we've been able to test. So it shows the evasiveness and how much important it is. Now, for our main topic here, basically Ghostminer was really, really vicious against its competitors. And whoever created this did a really major research. They look for things like static names for other crypto miners. They look for open source tool. They would delete and kill any process related to crypto miners, kill any scheduled tasks, delete services, etc. Now, what we did, basically, we've reverse engineered the code, and we were able to create an open source PowerShell script that does actually the opposite. It's going to help red teamers and defenders to fight against other crypto miners. Basically, what happens here, we have this discussed XMRig miner running in the background. And basically, as soon as we run the miner killer script, it will find that miner and kill it. Now, if you do decide to use it, it's up on GitHub. Use it with caution. Maybe one of the IT guys that actually deployed crypto miners will get annoyed by you, or you kill some applications. So again, use with caution. And you can see the miner was killed right away. All open source, you can have a look at that.
Regarding competition, Adilcuz is another crypto miner. So this one was coming after the WannaCry infection and spreading with the same vulnerability, Eternal Blue. It was actually not embedded directly into the samples, but spreading manually. And we can see here, so we reverse engineering the samples at McAfee. And there is, the first one we saw, the samples was in April 2017. And after the WannaCry infection, the one spreading with the Eternal Blue. And we compared the same function, the function of the both samples, and it was actually almost the same. And this one, it was really interesting because it was using also a small batch script to patch the SMB port to avoid any other infection via the Eternal Blue exploit.
It's kind of interesting. What do you prefer, getting a ransomware from the exploit or getting a crypto miner? So
Depends.
Maybe it's a nice thing.
Okay, there is also other evasive technique, especially for crypto miners. So for example, they can limit the CPU utilization to avoid detection. So for example, when you look at the task manager, you see the CPU, but there is no over CPU usage. So they can change that. They can also enable the mining process on specific hours. See, if you go to lunch, the malware will see that you are not in front of your computer and will start the mining process. And they can also, for example, use the mining process in several hours. So if you, for example, let your computer on during the night, the miner can wake up and use the resources of your computer. So just to recap a bit what we saw in this presentation about the evasive techniques. So mostly we can see that the sample study for that presentation was using Packers, like most of the malware, but also process injection and also anti-monitoring, which makes sense because when you have a crypto miners, what they want, it's not to be detected. So if they use anti-monitoring techniques, for example, to disable the task manager or to disable the registry, they will have more time to mine, to use the resources of your computer.
Yeah, we made kind of a small table here showing the case studies in which evasive techniques each one of them used. If anyone wants to research themselves, we'll be happy to share the samples. Maybe you'll find some evasion tactics that we've missed. So basically, you know, as I said, we got to give you some defensive tools, defensive tactics. So one of the major things we recommend is to monitor for high CPU activity in your network, in your devices. It's not that easy, but there's some really cool tools to do it. Basically, either you found a crypto miners, you got an application that's running really badly, or you need to add some CPUs. So it's not a bad thing to do anyway. Second thing, there's a link here for the miner killer. Either you can take it and use it, again, with caution, or you can understand what were the things they were looking for and maybe build some tools yourself.
You can also find on our GitHub a Yara rule for detecting Monero, which is a basic one to detect Monero activities. Also, it's good to monitoring your traffic, for example, with Snort rules or this kind of tools. You can monitoring your traffic for cryptocurrency transaction or mining traffic. And there is also the coin blocker list, which is really cool because this list is actually getting all the websites using CryptoMiner, which is CoinHive or others. Yeah. And we have actually a cool demo for that. So it's basically just how to implement the list on your firewall. And then once you create the rules, all the crypto miner from a specific website will be blocked by the firewall. So it's a simple simple task that you can do, and you can spread it for all your network.
Yeah, it's a good list on GitHub. It's basically maintained by a single guy in Germany, crazy guy, Zerodot. Probably should follow him. And it's really, really effective because majority of crypto miners do have some known domains. This is the less sophisticated ones. So in this here, you can basically see how we implemented in Little Snitch and how it's easily to get, it's blocking other crypto miners. Okay. So basically, if we're into kind of the gambling here, so what things we can expect in the future? Obviously, at least from our perspective, we see that crypto miners are going to surge even further. We see more and more attackers are using it. We actually think that because the Monero price and Bitcoin price decreased a bit, attackers have more incentive to get and find more computers and increase their botnets. So it's something we're going to see. We're probably going to see some more what we call unhandled devices, things that are less monitored, things like your Raspberries, your light bulbs, your refrigerator going to get attacked and probably going to get deployed by crypto miners on them.
We can also see, we talk about it a bit before. There is also some move from cyber criminals. So for example, some miner we present during this talk, such as Xiaoba, was actually originally a ransomware, and the authors decided to move to crypto miners. There is also some past example with Dradex and TrickBot, which was starting to target cryptocurrency wallet and cryptocurrencies user. Regarding, if we go further in the future, regarding the attacks into the blockchain, there is like the majority attack, which was already the case with the Vergecoin and the BTC Gold. So I will go more in detail for this one.
As an example about unintended devices, we're already starting to see kind of the first sparks of that trend. There's an ADB miner looking for debugger ports for Android, and then when it finds them, probably like Shodan and stuff like that, or scanning the net, they're going to get installing the miner.
Which is interesting here is to observe the rise of botnet miners. So it will be much more common to see botnet miner in the future because it's much more profitable for cyber criminals. Regarding the majority attack, so basically the majority attack will influence the blockchain integrity, and with the rise of botnet miners, it could be more common in the future. So what is the majority attack exactly? It's the case where cyber criminals or malicious actors will get more than 51% of the network, meaning they can influence the blockchain by forging their own blocks or create their own transaction, or also cancel the real transaction. So with the rise of botnet miners, it could be more common in the future.
So just a quick recap, because we went through some topics. So we start with kind of the trend, the rise of crypto miners. We then went a bit into the rabbit hole about some case studies about what are those evasive techniques they used. We'll look at evasive techniques and competition between the miners. Hopefully we offered some good defensive tactics. Let us know if it worked for you. And we went for a bit just right now exploring some future trends.
All right, thank you very much for your attention.
Right.
So we hope you enjoyed the talk. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, even after the talk, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, anyway. So
anyone have any questions? I try. Beautiful ones. Yeah. All right, if anyone has any questions, you can come to us after, and thank you.